Thank you for coming down. As you're aware, at 9:08 p.m. last night, we had a successful recovery of the Aratere. It was a significant integrated multi-agency effort. Port Marlborough Maritime team, incredible effort, our own maritime people, Maritime New Zealand, the Harbour Master, we were all in this together, and I'd just like to pay credit to everyone who was involved, including our onboard staff that have kept all of the passengers safe and comfortable, and all of our multi-agency people who have all been on the water within 24 hours. So significant effort. What we'd like to do today is to cover the next steps. Duncan is going to walk through that. We're still in an investigation. It's still controlled by Transport Accident Investigation and also Maritime New Zealand. So there's some things we cannot talk about today. I know you'll want to ask, but it's under investigation. But I'll pass on to Duncan and we can talk about the next steps.
Yep. Look, firstly, I just want to say how proud I am of our people. It was a very complex operation last night. It was very humbling when you see people who are really good at their job, be it the crew, the experts that were working through the stabilisation figures in Wellington, the tug operators and the pilots together to achieve something. So really, really impressive and serious incident, but one that we were happy to resolve within 24 hours. Right now the ship is at anchorage. We've had divers on checking to see if the hull's still watertight. It is. We've tested the tanks, very little damage, and we'll look to bring it back into port this morning, working with Ports of Marlborough to their timeline as we go through that process. When we get there, the master still has some things he needs to do, some admin and some processes, and then we'll have the Transport Accident Investigation Commission and Maritime New Zealand come on and start the work they need to do.
Through maybe what had to go and what had to be in place before you started to move it, some of the operational
Sure. Sure. So we used the tide to get the biggest tide we could last night. It was a full moon last night, which meant the tide was 10 centimetres higher than it was earlier in the morning. We'd spent the day moving the weight to the aft of the ship so that the front was as light as it could be. And that added complexity because you need, the ferry like that really needs to be stable and it needs its weight all around it. So when you come off, to be able to restabilise that quickly was a lot of science went into that, a lot of work, international experts overseas, and then we were able to get the weight going. We had a graduated approach with the tugs and we slowly worked up. We were working up to just over half power and she slid out straight up back into the water and was able to move to the anchorage under its own power.
How long will when will the process to move back in take place and how long are you expecting that?
We're expecting that in later today, and then this afternoon we'll look to move it into a more permanent berth probably tomorrow morning, and then we'll work with RNZ and take.
No major damage, but what is the effect on the ship and damage to the ship?
There's very minimal damage to the ship at this stage. We've got more in-depth investigation to go on, but the report from the people on the ship is they've tested the tanks, the divers have tested the hull. It's operational.
How did it feel when you saw it move?
Well, we're very happy. Very happy for our people. There's a lot of good work.
Can you just explain why it can't immediately come into the wharf?
Sure. So the wharf is operational for other ships, and we had to go to anchorage. And as I said, to make that ship to get as stable as we want, it takes time to fill those tanks, and you want to do it in a controlled fashion. There's no need to hurry, and the master is all over his job.
Once it floated, were there people on board quickly moving vehicles again?
No, we're using that stabilisation with bringing the water into the ballast and moving the weight around through the systems. Yeah, there's always people on the ship. We have a minimum muster for it to be safe.
What's that?
Depends how many people are on it, but there's a minimum crewing that's on a ship. If you're alongside and doing maintenance, there's a minimum number of people to be on the ship.
How long until, I know it's out of your hands, but could it be months before it's back in service, or weeks, or is there any sort of time frame for that?
No, we'll go through the process.
The Minister said yesterday it was his understanding that a new piece of equipment in the steering had failed, and as a result, someone wasn't able to basically lost steering of the ship. Is that accurate?
As we said, we're under investigation. It's not going to help the investigators do their job with speculation. We'll wait for the investigation to go through and we'll have the facts, I'm sure.
Speaking of what the Minister said he's disappointed with the sort of maintenance of these ships. Do you agree with those comments?
Well, look, you'll need to talk to the ministers on that. What I can say, I'm incredibly proud. The last 18 months, there's been a very big investment program. You can see the ships in the dry docks, big lift in capability. The last 9 months, we've had 99.6% reliability, on-time performance 92%. That is higher than global airlines. So we are very disappointed about what's happened in the last 24 hours. We'll do the work, we'll do the investigation, but we're very proud of what Duncan and the team have done to lift the performance of these ships. Record passengers over February, March. So I'm very proud. I'd take my own family on those ships right now.
Totally. But is it frustrating to have him say those comments when you don't agree?
Look, they've got to talk to the government about that. Our job is to run the operation successfully for customers and for our shareholders and our board, and that's our job.
But he's saying that they haven't been maintained well, but you're saying they have been. Is that?
That'll all come out in the investigation. So let's just go through that process. But I'm very confident of the work we've done with our global peer reviews we've had in place. Like any business, you're always improving and learning, and we'll do that as well.
Do you agree with the minister's comments? Yes or no?
That's a comment for the minister. I'm not going to comment on minister's comments. Our job is to run the operation.
That you didn't maintain these ships well enough?
Well, we've just had an incident, so there are questions to ask about what happened there, but also I can say there's been a very, very strong integrated approach to our asset management across the business, but like any business, it's all about improvement and performance.
What were the upgrades made to steering recently?
There was a new steering system put in, 7 kilometres of cabling put in, and a new automated approach. That happened in the last wet dock.
And that was preemptive.
That was correct. So the original steering system was coming into obsolescence, and there wasn't enough repair parts in the industry that we were happy with. So we made the decision to preemptively replace that with a new state-of-the-art system, which we brought in with international partners.
So you're looking into the possibility that it might have failed?
That investigation is looking into every possibility of what happened.
Think you have answers on that?
Well, we'll go through the process with, as I said, Maritime New Zealand and the Transport Accident Investigation Commission.
You've been wanting answers from, I think you said, the manufacturers tested the software, went through a few procedures, it was all signed off.
So it'll be a comprehensive investigation on all parts.
How long until this other ferry in here is fixed?
July the 3rd, it'll come out of wet dock. That's planned preemptive maintenance again, and we're putting a number of new systems on that ferry as we speak.
So you've only got one ferry operating?
One ferry operating at the moment, Kaitaki.
What happens if that, I guess, are you falling on Bluebridge cutting out?
So Kaitaki's been operating at 100% reliability for the last month and 100% on-time performance the last week. So we'll keep it rolling. It's the passenger ship. It's the big family ship of our fleet.
What sort of disruption is this going to cause then for bookings for people?
So we got teams working on that right now, and they're engaging with the customers to come up with the best option for them, move them onto the Kaitaki, or find alternative solutions for them.
Mr. Reedy, you said you would take your family on these ships. My wife said to me this morning she wouldn't go on them again. What would you say to people?
Well, we can point to all of our customer experience ratings have been improving. I can point to our global international tourists that come on board. I can point to record passenger volumes February, March. I can point to the reliability of the last 9 months and our on-time performance. However, we've just had an incident, so we just need to be calm, focus on that. But as I said, very, very proud of our people. We've had our customers fully supportive of what we're doing, and I'd say right now we've got to go through the investigation and then we'll move from there.
Are passenger volumes just, for a lot of people, there's not another option? It's the water part of State Highway 1. There's only so many ferries, there's only so many sailings.
There's plenty of options. You can fly, you can take Bluebridge, and for international tourists or families in this country that are travelling, or our commercial truck drivers, there are options for freight, other options for passengers. So, like anything, we're a competitive business. We have to stand on our own 2 feet. We have to compete, but there are many options for people.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say Interislander reputation is at the minute?
Well, I'd say in terms of you have an incident like this, it's obviously not good. But what I can point, and I can point to global peer reviews, and I can point to customer experience, and I can point to performance and asset management, it's definitely had a large increase in the last 18 months.
Will you publicly release those peer reviews?
Not at this stage, that's confidential, but it'll be part of the investigation as well. And it's something that we committed to 10, 12 months ago, and it's part of our ongoing improvement as a business in terms of asset management. So we've actually got a lot of reviews going on at the moment, so some we release, some we don't.
And in terms of just having one ferry operating at this rate, are you planning contingencies or anything if something happens to Kaitaki?
Sure, so at the moment it's obviously low season, all right, which helps. We've got Kaitaki, we've managed to cover all the freight that was delayed the last 24 hours. We've got a big capacity this week. We'll obviously work with Bluebridge. They work with us as well when they have incidents. And obviously in our whole process for asset management, we're every day looking at our ships and our assets. So yeah, that'll be prime concern for us, making sure we get Kaitaki out of its wet dock and then get Aratere back in as soon as we can.
Are you going to try and speed up that process as well? Is there any way you can do that?
So KiwiRail is in wet dock. We've just completed 18,000 hours of maintenance work on it. We've got another 18,000 hours to go between now and July the 3rd, and then we'll look to bring it back in a controlled system with escalated approach to making sure she's operational, and then we'll get her back on the run.
Is there going to be a delay with the rail freight?
The rail freight at the moment, what we do when Aratere is not running is we move it onto trailers, and we do that all the time because Aratere has planned maintenance, so we'll just go back into those processes we have.
On the ocean tax, would KiwiRail be open to paying for or starting to approve potentially in the future ocean tax so that if this incident happened in the Strait, there was that capability?
Well, look, I think that's one option for the industry to consider. It's obviously the port's investment, but that'll be something Bluebridge and ourselves would have to review as well. It's not just us. There's obviously other coastal shipping blue water around New Zealand, so that's probably a New Zealand maritime industry proposal that the participants could review.
How was
Do you
your
have
meeting?
confidence in the shareholder ministers?
Absolutely.
How was your meeting with Mr. Aratere?
It's always very frank, very collegial, very strong. I rang him last night when we'd managed to have a successful operation. He was very pleased, and he said, "Please pass my thanks on to all the people who have been involved." And it was great to see the minister here, as well as the mayor and the officials. So, as I said, multi-agency response, and it was good to see that everyone was involved in the planned operation of what we had to do last night.
Do you think you have confidence in the public?
I think that's something that the public have the right to have their view. But what I can say is I can look at our forward bookings, I can look at our passenger volumes, I can look at our customer experience ratings we do every day, and certainly, especially in the last month, we've had a lot more freight volume come on board, and we've had strong forward bookings. So I think at this stage, you stand on your performance, and it's all you always as a business try to improve and lift customer experience. That's our job.
Has the has that emphasised the importance of figuring out what next in terms of...
Oh, look, absolutely. It's not, as we stand here today, we've just had an incident. We have to stand back, be humble, really understand it, work with the agencies. So, okay, we had a lot of things working well, something's gone wrong, we need to address and fix that. So that's our job, and we'll be very serious and have an integrated approach on that.
But does that emphasise that, what's that future
Yes.
conversation? Is that, are you going to make sure that's front of mind for everyone?
Oh, well, we have been. Ever since the ships were cancelled, that's been front of mind for a lot of people, and we're working collaboratively with all parties on Plan B.
How large will that disruption potentially be in the coming week, I suppose, to passengers but also to freight movers?
Yeah, so there'll be some disruption for sure. We've got people come in on their Sunday right now working next door, ringing customers to come up with a plan to get the maximum solution to that and have the minimum disruption for customers. We've been keeping them informed in the last 24 hours. We've got a team on that. We value our customers. We understand that they get a choice, and it's our job to provide that service for them.
What about numbers? Will it be hundreds of bookings, thousands of bookings? At what proportion?
No, this is low season. This is non-peak. I don't have the numbers, but they're working through it.
The Minister said yesterday that the Ministerial Advisory Group had presented options for replacing the ferries to the relevant ministers. Do you know what those options are and
Look, we're all sharing our information. We're in that process now. Obviously, the Ministerial Advisory Group had a job to do. That's coming to a close. We've got our job to do. Minister of Transport had a job to do. That's all been brought together now, and we're obviously assessing all the options. But what I can say, that's a collaborative process across all the parties.
He says that the decision could become shortly. Do you know what shortly means?
Well, no, we haven't had that discussion. But what I can say, there's a lot of moving parts in this. In terms of, we've also got the shipping industry looking at various options. So that's up to government ministers. It's also up to our board. We're a commercial business, and our board will be making a recommendation as well.
How difficult is it for you guys to manage the maintenance and the ongoing maintenance of these ships when they are, so many decades old at this point, like from a company's perspective? How is that process?
So we made the commitment 12 months ago to really look at how we do asset management. We did a restructure. We brought in more experts. We've allocated more resources to it, and we've allocated more time to maintenance. So all the maintenance regime for the next year is planned down to the date, and we've put that out already, and we've got the year after that planned in general. So it's once we do that, we know what days we've got the maintenance on. We allocate the resources, we order the people, get the specialists in, and we just plan and roll through it. So it's a forward-looking process.
So it must be frustrating to have comments like you're not doing enough from the minister.
It is disappointing that we've had this incident, and we as an operational team have to start again and continue to show the performance we've had for the last 6 months. But when you have an incident like this, we've got to go back and prove that we have the reliability and the skills to do it.
As part of your message to the minister yesterday, we need these new ships, ASAP, is that what?
I think everyone is on that same page.
Right.
2026?
Last question, please.
2026?
I'm not making any predictions at all.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I know, don't take this personally, but I hope I don't see you for a while.